about the nation watching PA10 to see what we can do here, that should show you how important it is. You know, I've spent my whole life thinking, sometime before I die, it'd be great to be in the New York Times. And it's 3 times this week. And my good friend Eugene Pasquale, has that race been called yet? Do we know? Not called yet? Okay, good. Last time I looked, Eugene had a heady lead. Anyway, he said something very early on to me, which was that, you know, he was talking to me. He's one of the first people I called, and he told me what it's like to run a campaign and everything. And I said, you know, Eugene, I think I'm going to be really good. I think I'm going to be a beast. I think I can do this. And he said, Janelle, it's not about the candidate. It's about the campaign. And that's where you guys come in. So thank you so much. Yeah, when I look around and see the sheer hours of work you have done, yes, we also have some fantastic donors in here, but man, oh man, I am, you know, I can't believe anybody has a behind anymore because I think you've been working it off. To those of you who voted for me and the rest of you, I certainly would appreciate your consideration in November. For the next 6 months, I hope you will join me in reaching not only out to Democrats to make sure we get the vote out in November, which is going to be really crucial, but I hope you join me in reaching out to our Republican and independent friends too. Remember, Josh Shapiro won this district by 12 points over extremist Doug Mastriano. And Mastriano is nothing but Scott Perry light. So we can actually do this. I will say, as a news anchor, my job was being objective, nonpartisan, middle of the road, and really, that's what I'm going to do in Congress. You know, I've never run for office before, but you learn a lot about a place when you tell its stories for 38 years. It was my honor to meet so many of you. You know, I feel like I've either been sitting in everybody's living rooms or maybe on the television in your living room. So one way or another, I've probably been in your living room. Scott Perry, that's what tonight is all about. Because I got to tell you, as sweet as this is, April 23rd, what really matters is November. We must remove Congressman Perry. You know, he uses his power for the most extreme votes, pushing policies that hurt people around here. And don't take my word for it. I have a couple examples. Pennsylvania has a lot of very liberal and very conservative congressional members, but Scott Perry is more dangerous than all of them. Every other member from Pennsylvania, every other congressional member from Pennsylvania voted to give medals to the police who valiantly protected our Capitol on January 6th, who protected his life, who protected his colleagues' lives, you know, so he could go back into the chamber a few hours later and overturn your vote, Karen Balaban, yours, Judy, yours, Judge, everybody's, BJ, Amelia. You know, he voted to overturn all of our votes. He voted against giving them medals. He called it garbage. Only a handful of people in Congress did that, and nobody else called it garbage. Every other member of Congress from Pennsylvania, Republican and Democrat, voted to protect firefighters from toxic PFAS, the chemicals. Not Scott Perry, he voted no. Every other member of Congress, Republican and Democrat, voted to reduce homelessness among military veterans. These were his brothers and sisters, not him. Not him. When, you know, he's a textbook example of a congressperson who won't work with anybody to get anything done. He's had 12 years. I read an interview that's going to run, I think, in maybe the York newspaper. No, it's Fox 43, which is here tonight. Thank you guys for being here. I know that I lean heavily on my former colleagues, but delighted to have you in the house tonight as well. Scott Perry did an interview, and he talks about, yeah, if you want a candidate who is, you know, going to see to the economy, going to make sure your gas is not so expensive, that groceries aren't so expensive. And I started reading this because they're going to ask me for comment about the same thing. And all I could think was, he does realize he's had 12 years to do something about these things. So when he's saying, we need change, I'm thinking, okay, dude, yeah, we do. One thing we can agree on, Karen Balaban. And here's another thing with the veterans. When Democrats and Republicans passed historic legislation to help our veterans with health care benefits from breathing in the air of those toxic burn pits, guess who voted against it? Thank you very much. But, yeah, right. Well, wait, don't want to put the cart before the horse, Karen, but I hear you. You know, we have some real challenges to address. We need safe communities. If you watch the local news, and I hope you do, you know, you've seen the gun violence, the public health emergency that is gun violence leads just about every newscast. 12 years, Congressman Perry, what have you done about it? Oh yeah, cozied up to the gun lobby to make sure that none of the common sense legislation that Democrats, Republicans, independents, and gun owners can agree on, no, he doesn't get any of that passed. I don't know about you, but I want to be safe. I really want to be safe. And I'm not sure where to start here, but I was live on the set in 2022 when the Supreme Court handed down the Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade, and I had to look out into the camera in my best nonpartisan way at the time and tell every woman watching that her rights had been rolled back 50 years and that their daughters wouldn't have the same rights some of our mothers had. That is one of the first things I will do in Congress, try to recodify Roe v. Wade. This is not something that is negotiable, and we are watching the dominoes fall with every state. I mean, look at Arizona before it was even a state. The 1860s, they've gone back. You know, women couldn't vote then. You know, all the things that you couldn't do. It's just stunning to me. And I promise you, if I'm in there, I will not allow this to stand. And I'm beginning calls in the back room from other folks in our Pennsylvania delegation, and they are happy to stand with me to try to get this done. And again, I don't want to take up all your time because we still have some pretty good snacks over there. I don't know if you guys are drinking. I was too nervous to drink, but when we all stand together, this is how we win. I want to thank the labor unions that are standing with me, and the really great news is there are kind of too many of them to recount right now, and that's a really good problem to have. You know, we've got organizations. We've got Elect Democratic Women, chaired by Congresswoman Lois Frankel. We've got the New Dems, chaired by Congresswoman Annie Custer. We've got Her Bold Move, which Rick Galena helped me set up. Thank you for that, Rick. We have all these wonderful organizations, and, you know, that's part of how we all come together. They've been back there texting furiously. Who would have thought, you know, these Congress people are texting because they care about this district. They know that we have the power to flip the House. And one of two things is going to happen. We will re-elect President Biden, and if we can flip the House blue, we'll actually get something done. This 118th Congress, at last count, had accomplished 27 pieces of legislation. That's fewer than any time since the Great Depression back in the 1930s. Or if the alternative, I'm not Catholic, but I'm going to cross on this. If the alternative happens, we will have a House that can hold the line on some of that person's more nefarious instincts and try to continue our world standing. So either way, we got to flip this House, and they are all watching Pennsylvania 10. I like all of our volunteers. I got to tell you, Dave Stewart came back to me. He's homegrown here in Derry Township. I said, Dave, twirl around. And he's like, why? And I said, because I want to see if you still have a behind because I know you've been working it off. Anyway, I see you, Dave, and all the volunteers, man. When I went out to the polls today, we were poll hopping, and I had people holding it down for us all over the place. And for you to give your time and do that is just so extraordinary to me. So volunteers, thank you. We got our student fellows. We got the next generation here. Frank, I see you in the bright lights. Frank Fleming. We got Makai right here. Russ, can we have our students for Stelson? Raise your hand, please. Oh yeah, Frank, Makai. All right. Thanks, Dave. I think Audrey wanted to come from Carlisle, but she couldn't get a ride. So anyway, that's all right. We'll take care of her later. She's doing some great work. I couldn't do it without you guys. The future is you, and that's why we do this hard work. Going to try to get an earth for you to still live on, etc. And I would be remiss if I did not thank my family. Last time I looked, they were kind of holding it down over there, but people have moved. Oh, there's my little sister. So I'm the oldest of 4 girls, and that's my little baby sister, Jerry, who's been at the polls just killing it today. So thank you. Love you, too. Well, so Dems, Republicans, Independents, Jerry Mitchell, I see you. Everybody, this is so important. Carl Husiro, I shouldn't start calling people out because I know everybody's here who's so great. So little sister, I have some of my best friends here, the Fletchers, Kimberly and Tracy, Karen, oh, there you are. All right. Karen Anderer and her beautiful daughter, Nora. Hey, Soups, wave your hand. That's my nephew, Super G, his name's Grant. I just call him Soups for short. My brother-in-law, Gary, we got Uncle Dave here. You know, there are just so many good, Chris Fry, you know, all these great friends that are in the house. I am so, so, so thankful. And I would like to end tonight with a quote that my Uncle Jack, who lives in New York, and hopefully he's going to have a fancy party where we raise a lot of money, but he gave me this tremendous quote from Abraham Lincoln, and I think this is a really fitting time to end with it. Abraham Lincoln, who, you know, brought the country together. I think we ought to be able to bring, you know, Republicans and Independents together. Abraham Lincoln said, "Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?" So I'd like you to think about that moving forward. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? We can do this. We watched Governor Shapiro do it. Let's go get Scott Perry.